You're welcome back to This Morning on ITV. I remain your host, Ebenezer Oyetakin, on Nationalism and You. We are in the second segment of the discourse. We're going to take a look at the role of intelligentsia, those intellectuals, those university community, the academician, their role in nation building and development. And with me to examine this topic is a man who is a lecturer, not only in Nigeria, but in United Kingdom and in Oslo. Dr. Henry Dibem. You are welcome to Nationalism and You. And in our ritualistic manner, I say to you, Nationalism and You, Dr. Dibem.
It is my personal responsibility and duty to build the nation.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. That is our message. Everyone must take responsibility, accept responsibility.
Absolutely.
The intelligentsia. You are one of them. So, what is your role in nation building and development? Defining a pathway.
Okay, thank you so much, Yotakan. Thank you for welcoming me on board. On this topic, actually, I would just, like you mentioned, bring intelligentsia as a group of highly educated people, intellectuals. Okay, and what makes them a group is in every society you find them as a class of people who are kind of independent and engage in some level of deep thinking that would bring about the development and growth of the society. Well, when it now comes to the role, I actually classify their roles in maybe three, put them in three categories. First, that's what I call promoting the local intelligence, local content intelligence. And what this is their major role here is to find out what is the natural intelligence of the society, of the country. Every country has its own natural intelligence, and that I usually classify as inspirational intelligence, that these people are known for this. And that is what they develop and promote so well, it becomes their own identity, it becomes their culture, it becomes their tradition. That when you go to this country, like you go to China, you go to India, you know that this is what they know so well. And even if you need any kind of knowledge within that arena or area, you bring someone from there to learn. So it's understanding what is our own local intelligence that we can sell to the world. Now, that intelligence normally, usually it's not something that anybody could, you find in the walls of education. It's not, you don't really need to go to school to have that. But you know that you have it. It's now left for the intelligentsia of that community to now develop it, bring it up, make it their own intellectual power that they could sell to the globe. I'll give you an example. This is still one classification. And this is where you have a lot of maybe intellectuals. They go into research, trying to bring more evidence, do more findings, train and develop more people into it. And that example I want to give is like something like in Nigeria. We have this strength in understanding our herbs, our environment, in health, so to say. We have this natural intelligence in understanding. Most of us, when you look at our parents, we go into the bush, into the forest, you look at all those, something will tell you that these roots, this kind of roots, this kind of leaf with this kind of shape or this kind of taste would heal or cure this disease. This is ours. And once you find them, they come to television to tell you that they have herbs that could do this. We often neglect them because we don't even believe in them already. There's something I said last time I came here, that we've already constructed our minds that it's only something that comes from the West or from outside Nigeria that makes a lot of sense. So we've been confined to believe that you must go to school before you become anything. But actually, this is the work of the intellectual community to look at those things that these people know that could be our own strength and develop it with them rather than discarding them because of our low self-esteem. Now, we have all these herbs that are making a lot of sense that could be very, very useful to the economy and to our health institutions or systems, but we somewhat believe in the chemicals and the chalks that we bring outside. We are convinced to say this is better. Now, rather than doing so much research in this area to build this, we depend on another coming from outside the country. Another, that is their own strength. They know how to bring all these synthetic chemicals, molecules, mix it together and find out what it is. They've gone to the lab, they've done that research. But rather than doing this, we come to our own and we find a way of discarding our own people. What does he know? He didn't go to school. He can't even speak English. So whatever herbs he's saying, that's why I still do not know, even in the universities, why you do not find a trado medicine department. It should be a full-time faculty, full-fledged faculty of trado medicine, because that is our own strength. So in a wider scope, it's the work of the intelligentsia to bring out these intelligence, these natural gifts within the community and research on it, bring out more products out of it, and it becomes our natural national image or brand. That is one part. The other part is the one I would call the side of some kind of social or political sector, where it is also their work to provide information, evidence, data that would help challenge policies, systems, and institutions in the community or in the society. What am I trying to say? You don't just wake up one day and you churn out one policy or churn out one system or say, oh, from today, let's close border, or from today, let's open this one. You don't do that. That's not how it's done. Most of these policies and systems should be evidence-based. Evidence-based means they are informed by data, they are informed by evidence, they are very, very objective. And who provides this evidence, who provides this information that will help the government and the stakeholders to make all these policies? This is the work of the intelligentsia. To do all those research, look inwards, assess, do some kind of assessments within the people, do some research, bring out this evidence and this information that will help these the stakeholders or the decision makers to now make certain decisions to say, okay, if this thing works this way, or if you do this and do this based on what we found in the society, based on the opinions and views of the people, I think it will work better. Now, that is one. Once this is done, if you have enough information for them to do all build their systems and the institutions and policies, as they are running this, is also the work of the intelligentsia to also provide some level of assessment, neutral, unbiased assessments, evaluation. You evaluate those things and see if it's working. Every policy, every system, they have their goals, they have objectives, they have their aims. There are reasons why you create them. So it's the work of this community to assess those policies and systems and inform back the government or the stakeholders or the policymakers to say, okay, this you are doing, this policy is working well based on these outcomes, based on these products. There should always be KPIs, the key performance indicators. Based on these indicators, we think that it's heading to the right direction, or it is not working at all. There are huge problems. It's deviating. It's doing something else rather than what you think we are achieving. So I think there is need for us to change this policy. And this has to be very, very unprejudiced. It's not what we find today, when interests have so much contaminated that. But I'm not going into that. But it's just for their roles. If they provide, if it's coming from a very neutral perspective, it would encourage the policymakers and even the government to say, okay, since this is working, what do we do? So it provide information, it provide evidence at hand to help them, restructure that.
In summation, deducing from your analysis, it is expected of the intelligentsia or intellectual community to create a pool of knowledge to which the governments can have recourse in order to navigate policies, implementations, or even creation and things of that nature. Do you see the intelligentsia community in Nigeria consciously pursuing that goal? Have you, by your experience?
Oh, no. I think we've lost it. We've lost it at some point. You know, now everybody is very much carried away by lust for power, fame, you know, materialism, luxury, and so on and so forth, which shouldn't be the guiding or the driving force of the intelligentsia. It shouldn't be in the first place. But now, there is problem of trust now. Problem of trust. Trust in the sense that how much would you trust even the knowledge that they are generating? Because if I think that I have interest in something, there is high chances that I want to provide only, which is the unbiasedness I mentioned before, provide knowledge that would support that my interest. So integrity or character is the core characteristics or the core quality of this community. What it means is that I can close my eyes and trust every knowledge, every evidence, every information that they are bringing out to the community, because they don't care if it favors them or not. Their interest is the interest of the population, collective people, nation. So now, I don't think it happens anymore. I think it's very, very obvious in Nigeria. In fact, the worst case scenario now is even when, because we trust them, at least these are in any society, if you've lost trust in any society, among all the sectors of that community or that society, the intellectual community will be the last maybe resort, if you want to still want to enjoy that level of trust and confidence. But when they have lost it, which is happening in Nigeria, it's one of the reasons why we are in trouble where we are. So that instance I want to give there is that when we've discovered that at some point we've lost so much confidence in our electoral process, so much confidence, we've lost confidence, we no longer think this is right, we don't know how to trust. I think, I wouldn't know which administration that now started engaging the university community, the professors to come and be part of the process. Professor Jega, thank you. Thank you, exactly. To come and be part of the process. He did that based on that trust, that if he had lost confidence in every other communities in the university community will still give you what you want.
Intelligentsia community, yes.
But unfortunately, we all knew what happened when professors and university personnel will still get into the process, and they are roped into it, trying to still, paint black white and white black and so on and so forth. So when I think that was the point, we even as a country started losing hope in that community. I'm not saying all, because I wouldn't want to generalize it. We will still find some good ones.
But then, taking a look back, many of these professors, because the political elite have confidence that, just like you have explained, that they can be a guide in policy formulations and implementation, and even making their duties, even as legislature, more sharpened to deliver.
Exactly.
Most of them we have most of them appointed a special advisor, special assistant, and the rest of it. I remember former President Shehu Shagari appointed Dr. Shuka Okadibo, whom himself was a lecturer. Like when he will say that, when I was lecturing in university, I brought this one in IMF has not been born, and that kind of a thing. I was so proud of him and that kind of thing.
Of course.
But one tragedy is that even when they are so employed as advisor and brought close to government, we are not seeing their contributions impacting meaningfully as it should be. Why this?
Yeah, I think I made some statement about that. If you say why that, I would say it's just something that is also very, I wouldn't know, I just want to give it a kind of a bad word, but it's kind of instinctive in human that the very first instinct in whenever you have an opportunity is your own self. That's that. And that self will now take, lure us into losing everything just for the lust for power, fame. You just want, you've gotten there, then just get as much as you can.
Doctor, haven't established that The creation of pool of knowledge by intelligentsia community is fundamental to national development, transformation, and nation building.
Very fundamental.
How can we revive the tragedy of not having it?
That's a good question. And actually, reviving the tragedy will start from self-determination. When everybody, just like I said when I came in the first time, when everybody is trying to take responsibility, call it personal duty, personal responsibility to build a nation. And if you are making that self-reflection, you're now saying that you need to cut down, because this is where character and integrity will come in. There's nothing I can do to a man who doesn't want to change, who have not gotten good reasons to, redefine himself and say, okay, for the interest of the country, for the sake of my patriotism for the country, for the sake of my name and my image, I have decided to resolve internally to do what is right and stand by it. So that might still take us back to having a very strong national orientation, community and local orientation, whereby character and integrity will be the watchword for in everything that we need. And now we'll start bringing out models who can stand against all odds for what is right. So this is not just about intellectuals. It's not about just the intellectual intelligentsia, but because this is what we are discussing, it also starts there from the university, where you have such institutions and where only theories, models of understanding principles, and probably how to make money and how to make our thoughts, it doesn't really go with the character that will drive such knowledge. I keep on remembering this man from India, Mahatma Gandhi, that says knowledge without character is very dangerous. Knowledge without character is very dangerous. And personally, I will move it forward to say I would rather stay with an ignorant person with character than somebody who knows it all without character. It's basic in every society, even the countries we are running to go and stay. So if with all the things I know, and with all the knowledge and with all the inputs and all the impact that community of intellectuals could make in the country, if they don't have the character, they will use that knowledge wrongly. They will use it against rather than for. So if you are saying what we will do, I don't think there is no other. I've heard people a lot say something about systems, build procedures, build institutions, this and that and that. But I don't know why they fail to understand that what we need in this country, when you call systems and institutions, you're talking about people. These are the organic systems. We are not looking at the inorganic systems, the computers there, the buildings. We're not looking at that, because even the computer you think is a system is made by someone, is programmed by someone. It has a program. So the person can also reprogram it to do something wrong. These are those things that will help us to facilitate our actions and our activities, to make it faster, to make it more efficient. But it has nothing to do with the main thing that drives the robot and drives the system and the structures and those inorganic systems are the organic systems, which are the people. So if you're saying build these systems without paying closer attention to the organic systems, which are the people, then we've lost it all.
No. When I was as far back as when I knew, I stopped copying notes of teachers when I was in class 3.
Yeah.
Class 3 secondary school.
Okay.
I stopped copying notes.
Wow.
What I did was, if you come to teach in the class, I pick up my pen, I'll be jotting whatever you are saying.
Okay, good.
And I pick up the topic you are teaching. Then I will go and borrow book even when I don't buy.
Okay.
I will go and borrow 1, 2, 3 books. Authored by 3 different authors.
Okay.
And I will read them and form my own opinion. This opinion become mine, and I penciled it down in my own understanding. But I had a tragedy that somebody who is also in university community explained to me last week when we were discussing somewhere. He said, now, the parameter for you to pass exams is for you to buy what do they call it, handout. No matter how knowledgeable you are, no matter how many books you read, even that your knowledge surpass that of your lecturer who lecture you on that, if you demonstrate that knowledge and wrote beautiful, what do you call it, your project and that kind of a thing, the lecturer will say, if you don't buy
the handout,
you are not passing, and the rest of it. And I saw myself telling my teacher, why did you give me 98%? I'm supposed to have 100%. And he said, Ebenezer, you have gotten enough, and that kind of a thing. Where did we get wrong? And how can we create a pool of knowledge if this is the spirit out there now?
So let me just return the question back to you, which will also help to buttress my own point. The knowledge you have, see what you did as a student, which obviously I'm not sure is applicable right now. And not most students. You will still find some who are very passionate about knowledge. They want to know more. They want to form their own opinion. And this is actually what is real studentship. Now, my question would have been, now you know this knowledge, and like I mentioned before, they're now making handouts to now be the criteria for passing, because they now want to make more money. Like I said, lust for fame, lust for money, lust for luxury. That we've just bastardized the true essence of knowledge, and forming knowledge that is that's very unbiased, very objective, that will help in nation building. Now it's no longer happening. So my question is that if you have this knowledge, you know what is right. Let me just say, as you are, if you happen to be a university vice chancellor, would you want to still continue with this current system?
That is why I brought you here. that is why I brought you here, because I am not a teacher, I have not a lecturer.
No, it has nothing to do with teaching.
Please.
No, Ebenezer, it has nothing to do with teaching now.
So you should tell me.
No, do you know what I want to bring out? Yes. Okay, I'll tell you. What I want to bring out is that I am sure you know what is right and wrong. You don't even need to go to school. When I was talking about inspirational intelligence, you don't need to get some of these things in the world of education. Honestly. But again, it's good that we encourage our younger ones, encourage the community, encourage anyone we can. That strength is in us. That ability to stand is not easy, quite well. I would have to, I accept that fact. It's not easy, but that is what makes, that would differentiate boys from men. Mm-hmm. That if you're a real man, you don't need to change the post because your interests have changed. You stand by what is the truth. You stand by your, in fact, your integrity becomes your image. Now, if you have this is the first thing you need to build. Like I was talking about systems. You need to have this as a person. Then when you now get into the university, you now have opportunity to, as a Minister of Education, and this is the strength that will now connect with all those theories, strategies, technical systems to now bring it down to the university and take us back to what we should be. Now, what it means is that it's very, very easy for me to say, you come to the university, there's no sale of handouts, and students do not need to do whatsoever that they have to go through before. It shouldn't be a criteria for assessment for a student's knowledge. That shouldn't be. So the character is what will drive the organic system that will be very that will be lasting in this institution, not how much you know. Even if you are the best professor in whatever, that is not that. So the first thing first. So that's why I want to bring it back to you. Now you know what you've done in the past, and you know what it should be, but you are discouraged. When the lecturer told you about the current system, that you need to now buy handout, which is what is happening, that happened to me. In fact, I had a problem when I was in school with one of the lecturers. Not because it's kind of pushing us to the wall. Honestly, it's actually because I didn't have the money to buy. I came from a humble background trying to make ends meet. But it became, so what happened was, in order to make my case, I had to go and read extra hard so that I will give him the kind of grade or score that he would see. Even his conscience won't allow him to break that. So it's extra work for me. And finally, I think I got like 67, something I think that I should have like 99 or 98. Mm-hmm. It was so perfect. Even the 67, I almost, took it to the university senate. Why should I have 67? But at some point, knowing fully well where the whole system, what the system was, in order not to just, rope myself into it much. I just let go. I've passed. So my response to your question is that character is fundamental, sir. It's not anything outside it wouldn't work. Because the conviction to do what is right comes from inside. It's not actually what somebody will tell you or the system that you see. In fact, if you're not so careful, the environment will even corrupt you. But for you to have that, I've had lecturers, even those days, even what you're saying, I've had those that say, read well, do what you can do well, you will pass. You don't need to buy anything. But if you want extra, I've just done this, this book, whatever, or this manuscript to help you. But you don't need to. Yes, I had one very clearly, very, very good lecturer.
Dr. Dibem, one of the reasons why we hold discuss like this is to help our policies makers that are watching us out there and the rest of it. As a matter of fact, on this television station, we have a program that is tagged If I Were the President. It runs on weekly basis also. If
good.
I Were the President. Now, I am going to use it to frame a question to you.
Okay.
If you are appointed, haven't been a lecturer in Nigeria, in United Kingdom, and in Oslo, if you are appointed as Federal Ministry of Education, what will you do differently to rejig our intelligentsia community to live up to the expectation of creating a pool of knowledge to drive nation building?
Okay, what I will do actually is that I will go back to what I mentioned before, the local intelligence, how to promote the local intelligence. We've so much depended, we've lost confidence in ourselves, looking for the work that other countries, intelligentsia in the other countries, they view their own local content intelligence, and that's what we are hoping on to use to apply in Africa or in Nigeria. No, that wouldn't happen. So I'll go back and try to build our local content intelligence. What are those strengths that we have, natural gifts that we have, as a people? We'll try to promote that. Then I will tell you that I will build systems quite well, but the kind of systems I will build are organic systems.
How will you coordinate the organic, that is which is between the intelligentsia, you and me? How will you coordinate and revive them away from the practice that is undermining the creation of pool of knowledge?
Because the people that think that they know, when you think that you know, actually you do not know. People do most of the things that they know they do because of whatever convictions that they have, and they think that they know probably for whatever interest that they have. But what I will do actually, because this is where the orientation plays a very vital role, is to also bring the community together. Even if it means it's something I could do personally, but I still know that there are still good ones among them, to let them know, give them reasons, the implications of their actions to the community. I also try to make them independent, because sometimes when you start having affiliations with the government, you are likely to be influenced because you just want to, dance their tone. But that is one, making them independent. But the very first one is trying to still get back to their conscience, give them a different knowledge that they are not aware of. Let them understand the implications of those actions, not just to themselves, but to the country at large. Because most of them are not even patriotic in the first place. When you're not, patriotism means the love for your country. That's where you belong. But if you don't just have the love for yourself, then you have an open ticket to do whatever that will just favor you, undermining the progress and the building of the nation. That is what. So I will tell you, I will do very, on that aspect, comprehensive and intensive orientation of the minds.
Thank you very much. What will be your last message?
My last message will be, Nigerians, that knowledge without character is dangerous. No matter what we do in this country, we'll have to fix the country ourselves. We definitely have to fix, and the fixing of ourselves is taking that personal responsibility, which is founded in your personal resolve, very strong resolve that you have to do what is right. By the time you do what is right, and you're able to engage some other person to also do what is right for the love of a country, then we can all stay together in one country in peace and in happiness.
Thank you very much. Good to have you here
Thank
once
you, sir.
again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for always answering us when we call on you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's been a wonderful talking with you. Nationalism and you.
My personal duty and responsibility.
Yes, that is how we come to the end of the discourse of the segments. But we are still on this morning on ITV, and we hope you continue to keep faith with us, even as we will be taking a look at what the newspaper are saying today, if they are available there. Don't change the channel.